in this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Of Lincoln is proud to announce they are able to offer their own post-frame building packages in metal to anyone desiring a building, whether you're a contractor or a DIYer. They can install your building as always, and they offer multiple different rib profiles and loads of color options, including the wood grain metal at great competitive prices. You can inquire at mwrbuildingandfence.com or just draw your desired building and submit it in their contact us page, and they'll get back to you. Call MWR today at 402-540-8966. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of January, because get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying, let's sit around the table, let's drop some plans, let's put numbers together, let's get a budget put together, and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Don't wait. The clock is ticking at Landmark Implement's annual inventory reduction sale. For a limited time, get special financing as low as 1.9% for 12 months, then 6.2% interest for 48 months on select equipment. No auction, no waiting, just inventory price to move. Once it's gone, it's gone. Visit Landmark Implement or shop online at landmarkimp.com. Then click on the featured used equipment and experience the Landmark difference.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines. Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Husker Wrestling post-match just wrapped up here, and we actually, I think, have some pretty positive things to talk about. We do bring in Ridge Lovett, and before we get to Ridge, quickly, I want to read out our first sponsor. Shout out Union Bank and Trust. Get a great rate on a 6, 12, or 24-month CD with Union Bank and Trust. Learn more at ubt.com. That wrapped up the Husker Wrestling match. Ridge Lovett, just give me your initial thoughts, man. What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good. Penn State's a tough team, ranked number 1 in the country. Bunch of number 1s on their team. I think they had 6 tonight. Super offensive, and I think that's the one place that we were kind of outmatched a little bit. For me, was just shot output. When Penn State was on their feet, up and down the lineup, they were constantly shooting in on attacks and did a real good job of defending reattacks, right? A lot of times after their shots, whether they completely whiffed on a leg or not, they got back up to their feet and kept their legs clean, which were those are the 2 biggest takeaways for me.
Yeah, I was looking at that Josh Barr in particular.
Mm-hmm.
That's aggressive. I mean, to your point of them getting a lot of those shots, he was going for them nonstop, and if he whiffed, he was giving you another one in about 2 seconds, going for it again. I mean, when you're dealing with guys like that, Josh Barr, who's just gonna keep going at you, how do you advise wrestlers to go about guys that are just gonna keep being aggressive throughout the entire thing?
Yeah, it's really going to come down to stance discipline, right? They're hard in the hand fight early, firing off those shots, and as soon as they're coming up to their feet, they're back hard on the head. And you can see our guys late in matches kind of coming up out of their stance a little bit, right? We saw it at 25. We saw it at 49. Saw it at 84, 97, right? Those guys just kind of starting to come up out of their stance a little bit, because when you're in the hand fight and these guys are pulling on your head the whole time, it is every time they release in the top of your head, they're firing off an attack. So just being a little more disciplined in your stance late in the match, which you're getting tired, it's going to be hard, but either cleaner hand fight, keeping them off of our head early in the match, or got an extreme stance discipline late in the match.
Well said. Speaking of it, let's just go through some of these matches. Let's start out 125. We did have Kohler out there again. That one was a tough one. Again, it's Penn State. These are all going to be absolute grinders. I'm not going to disparage any of these guys. They're fighting a giant that is this Penn State Nittany Lions program. But this one, it was, I think, 3 first period takedowns. That one kind of got away from Kohler. It felt like a little bit. What'd you see in that match?
Lilydal's tough. Big Ten champ last year. I think he took 3rd at NCAAs. Super fast, right? And we can see it on a lot of those attacks. But with Kaler, we need more shots, right? The one real committed shot he took, he got to the leg. Lilydal wrestled off of it, and we came right up into an underhook, right? So it's like off of our shots, we were getting to advantageous positions, or off of his one real shot attempt in that match. We got to the leg, and then we came up to our feet in a underhook, right? So it's that's a good spot to be in, but a little too much faking and not enough shot attempts, because Lilydal, he'd fake a little bit, but he was almost shooting nonstop, right? And getting off the bottom quick. The bow and arrow was ruthless, right? He ran him straight up over his head. That was a tough one to watch, but even wrestling through that, we came all the way up to our feet, up on the leg, couldn't finish that shot. Oh, shoot. Lilydal's tough. That one was a tough one. But just more offense. We got tech fault in the match, so let's go out firing and not waiting back on our heels.
I like it. We do got Dean off of YouTube here. Said, just like Manning said, calls them too soft. not happy with the performance. I will say this, just kind of put it out there. And Ridge, you can maybe speak on this as well. I saw some pretty good things out of this. There's some things that we could certainly do better, but you go out there and you get some wins off of Penn State, and Penn State has just been decimating everybody who's come through their wake lately. So some of these we'll talk about in a little bit more detail. But yeah, some of these matches want to go better. I will say there are definitely some positives that we'll get into later. But moving on here, we won't spend a ton of time on this one. Marcus Blaze dominated at 133. He beat Jacob Van D, and that puts the score to 8-0 just after the two. But the one I really want to talk about, 141, Brock Hardy. I'm going to shut up, Ridge. I want your thoughts on it.
It was starting to look like it might have been a little deja vu from the Mendez match. Brock came out and he was little lackadaisical off the whistle. Davis came out firing, but gave up that first takedown, got up to our feet quick, then gave up another one. And then it was pretty much all Brock Hardy after that, controlling most of the hand fight. From Brock, I would, just a little sturdy in our stance early in the match, right? After the Ohio State match, I was talking to him. He's like, I need to come out with a little more fire, and didn't quite see that, but turned it on second period, started hand fighting, winning those exchanges, and then got a takedown. It was looking to get back in on the legs again. Once he got that first takedown, there was no doubt in my mind that Brock was going to find his way to the legs and get another one. But Davis, panicking in the hand fight, was falling behind a little bit, panic shot, kind of dove in. Getting to Brock Hardy's legs is one thing, and if you're tired, finishing is a whole nother. That was a replay of the Big Ten Finals last year. The exact same scenario. And when you're in on an extended shot, head inside with Brock Hardy, cradle's coming. You know it's coming, and he's always been good in that position. He got those hands locked and picked up 6. That was big. That one was big.
Massive little momentum swing there. You kind of felt it, and Penn State. I mean, he wasn't happy about it. A little kick there at the end. After I don't think Brock Hardy really did anything. I saw a little pat to the stomach, and that was about it. Penn State didn't like it. Gets a little kick. Refs, they take a point away from the Nittany Lions as a result. But then you did get a little bit of momentum. Shout out Brock Hardy. He gets 100 in the last one, and now make it 101 wins for Brock Hardy at 149. This one was the tough one. I mean, Van Ness
came out hot.
Animal, but I honestly didn't think Lamer did a bad job. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought he got himself in some really good situations, but he just couldn't finish.
He came out hot, maybe a little bit too hot. That was kind of came out with the same attitude that Van D did with Ayala against Iowa last week. Came out firing, got to a leg, got a takedown, was riding tough. But we were talking about it. Van Ness is going to be heavy on the head. He's not going to get tired. He's going to be coming late, and that was the same thing. Stance discipline is super important there, especially when he's dropping in on those doubles, not hitting a knee, just kind of running into you, hand fight, dropping in, finding his way to the legs. Just stance discipline there, right? I wrestled that kid last year. He's tough. He wrestles hard the entire time, and late in the match, we stance discipline's got to be better.
Well said here. And this one coming up here, we got David off of YouTube. Can't believe PJ lost. Yeah, PJ Duke did take his first loss of the year. Antrell Taylor, once again, just an incredible performance by him.
Absolutely. That one was real. Both those dudes are so strong. It's hard to get through their head and hands defense. And the one stall call in that match that they called, I wasn't a big fan of it. When Trelly kind of kicked out, but he kicked out on the edge on the single. He kicked out, turned in. Where else are you supposed to go there? But whatever. Ref calls the stall call. Takedown was close. I thought they made the right decision there. Reaction time and all that. I've seen way more that looked like a takedown call with no calls. So I thought that one was fine. Trelly was smart. He managed his energy. Came down to it late. Overtime did enough to keep the ref off him with the second stall call. I would like to see a little more activity, but Duke's strong. That's a tough kid. I think we got onto his leg one time and he kicked out, went out of bounds. I think that was mid second period, mid third period. I don't remember when we got on his legs, but almost, we got to his legs, and getting through that guy's head and hand defense is tough. And then right out to Trelly, Trelly looked like a vet. He did his job, got out quick, right? That's half the battle. If you can get out quick in that overtime period, then a lot of times people would go neutral there, but Penn State thinking they could get out in less than 14 seconds. Antrell, big mat returns. I think he had 2 or 3 big mat returns. He professional. He looks real good. I was real proud of my boy.
That to me, that's the biggest thing I've seen out of Antrell Taylor is he just looks like he's a little bit more knowledgeable out there, especially in this stretch that he's has. I don't know how much you go into it, but for him, it just feels like he's got a really good scouting report, and he's willing to stay patient throughout it. And you're not going to see him panic.
Yeah, and he's real fast, real good shots from the open. So he's going to be getting that same feel. The Minnesota kid was giving him that look. Jordan Williams was kind of giving him that look. Like anytime that you're in the open, they're low. There's nothing from the open, right? They want to rest. They're trying to make him wrestle in a phone box, make him go through the hand fight the whole match. Because once you separate, Trelly's really dangerous. His low single's real good. His double leg from the open super hard to stop. And just that, and then keeping him out of underhooks. If he can get to your body, you're in trouble, right? And Duke, like Penn State, super well coached. They had a game plan going into it. They stuck to their guns, and Trelly made some mid-match adjustments where he was like, all right, maybe it's not going to be a takedown. We'll send this to rideouts, and he was perfectly okay with that. And that's a big jump that we've seen from him in the past couple years. So when he first got to college, top and bottom, Trelly struggled a little bit, but sophomore year made huge jumps there, and then this year, it came down to rideouts tonight, and he's jumped levels.
Well said there. And kind of switched the match. I mean, it put a little bit of panic into that arena. At that point, you go to the break and it's, hey, 10-9. Huskers are right back in this thing. Unfortunately, as we move on here, though, tough one for LJ today. It was, I think it was a 20-5. And what was it? Yeah, 20-5 tech fall versus Messenbrink. That one, I mean, just real quickly on that match with LJ.
Yeah. Messenbrink shoots nonstop. He's another one of those guys, when he doesn't get to the leg, he's real good at recovering shots, so he feels safe just firing them off. During the scouting report, we were like, okay, so he's going to shoot 100 times this match, and when he doesn't feel like he can get up and finish the shot, he does a real good job of just kind of shutting it down and just waiting for the stalemate. He never really takes himself out of position on his attacks. His finish rate is super high, which, if someone's shooting that much on you, we got to keep that finish rate low. I would like to see better head and hands defense from LJ, just keeping him off those shots, right? Make him eat them out a couple times instead of trying to wrestle through a scramble every single time. LJ is real good at scrambling, but when someone's on your legs that many times, it's going to be tough to defend every single time.
Yeah, and then moving on from that, another really good one with Christopher Minto. This one got me fired up. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of got pissed here at the studio, Ridge, because there was a certain push in there, and I thought, hey, that's pretty dangerous. I thought it was a little bit more intentional. Nebraska gets a point for it, but this one, you had number 1 Haynes versus Minto, number 4 Christopher Minto, and it was a pretty good one. But at the end there, it just kind of gave way. I don't know if Minto felt gassed, but that one ends up, what was it? Yeah, 8-5. Your thoughts on how Minto performed, and also your thoughts on that little shove off the mat there. I don't know if
I
was not a fan.
Pushing him off the mat. That one made me really want another year of eligibility. Let me go out there and I'll push someone off the mat. But Kofi wrestled tough, getting ran off the mat, pushed in onto the scores table early, kept it together, held his composure, went out there and just, kept wrestling hard. Found his way to the legs, got a takedown. Just Tofi, he kind of suffers from the same thing LJ does, where when people get on his legs, he wants to force a scramble immediately. Levi Haynes was in the world championship finals this year. Right, the kid took second in the world at the senior level. He's a tough kid. We don't want to force scrambles every single time. Little more head and hands defense when they're on the leg. Work to kind of really get to your sprawl If they crack our sprawl, okay, now we can scramble a little bit. Just a little more baseline defense first. And I think that Tofi's going to be a real tough out come March. Right? Just got a little more baseline defense. 65, 74. Those two, that would be the biggest jump that I think that they can make right now. And then a little with LJ did a decent job on top. He got the leg in one time. I didn't like the stall call once the kid got to his feet. I think that should have been a stalemate, put back down. Ref was a little stall happy tonight. It seemed really against red, but when blue has that much offense, it puts a vision in the ref's eyes. But those two together, more baseline defense, and Tofi just a little more work on top. He has a great 2-on-1 tilt, and we saw that last year at Nationals. He was picking up back points. Just need a little more off the whistle effort in the top position.
Moving on at 184, Rocco Welsh versus Silas Allred. This one I think going back to that aggressiveness, I just think right off the bat, there's really two quick takedowns within the first minute and a half, first 2 minutes there, where it kind of, again, it felt like Penn State just came at that thing swinging really aggressive, looking for the takedowns. And then before you knew it, I think it was 22 finish, and Silas Allred just couldn't really even find a window to get his offense going.
Yeah, I think in that position, we need a little more of that Brock Hardy approach. Okay, take one deep breath and calm it down a little bit. Okay, we're going to need 2 takedowns. So let's start marching back right now. Let's get back into our hand and fight routine and start looking for opportunities to find shots, right? And Silas's feet looked real heavy. We were watching it, me and Caleb Smith and Harley Andrews. We were talking about he's not moving his feet well. I don't know if it was a tough weight cut, but his stance, I felt like his legs were a little wide. He was kind of sitting back a little bit. And Rocco took advantage of that, especially on the double leg. When he shot the blast double, Silas was really, both feet were flat footed. Seemed like his feet were kind of stuck in the mud a little bit tonight. Didn't have great motion. Little too reliant on the hand fight to keep him off of his legs. We got to move our feet. Got to move our feet there and just start marching them down. Give up 2 quick takedowns. Match isn't over, right? We can start chipping away. Let's start with 1 takedown, right? Silas started getting a little antsy and overwhelmed a little bit. We needed that composure, 1 deep breath, slow it down, and just start with finding 1, right? Get back into our hand fight routine and find a way to a leg 1 time first, not trying to hand fight in the death after that. I think that's one adjustment Silas can make is if something goes wrong early, deep breath, keep our composure, we move our feet and get back into our routine.
Yeah, especially when it just feels like you're kind of starting to play into their favor a little bit. It just felt like, again, could never get him uncomfortable. Real quickly, McDaniel, he a little bit of the same, or am I off on that?
No, a little bit of the same. Josh Barr, super tough, super offensive. When we got to the leg, it was going pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, we got the 1 takedown late in the third to keep it at a major. And then the other time we got to the leg, I feel that he was okay with the stalemate. He got in on the single, which every match this year that I've seen him get to that knee pull high C that he does a real good job at sucking the leg in and starting to move up to his feet. But I don't know if it was fatigue or being okay with the stalemate. He dropped down to the ankle. I would have liked to see him try to, posture up, get his chest up, chest big, and try to bring that up to his feet instead of being okay with relaxing and holding on to the ankle.
We'll talk more holistically about everyone. And the last one before we go to our break here, AJ Ferrari, actually a little bit of a fight there. I was impressed. I think it was redshirt freshman as well for Penn State, or freshman at the very least. Actually gave him a little bit of a run for his money, but AJ stayed calm enough throughout it and ended up pulling off a decision.
Yeah. We need more forward motion, right? We got to go forward. AJ, I know his style. He plays possum a little bit. He backs up, gets him walking into him. And he does a good job at finding shots. But we need to be able to walk him down a little bit, right? Especially with a kid like that who's not as big as the other heavyweights, right? A lot of the kids he wrestles, he's giving up 20, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Those guys, to me, they seemed relatively the same size. And AJ's looked like he really had the strength advantage. And I think AJ just needs to realize when shots are working for him, when he was first hitting that single leg, he got to the leg or almost to the leg 3 or 4 times in a row, right? Almost got the takedown in the first period. And after that, he kind of was okay with chilling. And that can't be the idea, right? We don't want it to come down to trying to keep him off our legs late in the match, because I don't know if he gave up a stall call, but late in the match right there when he was on the edge, right, just walk him down. He hasn't touched your leg the whole match. Just walk him down, right? Head and hands defense is good. You can look for a reattack, build your lead that way, but less backwards motion. We got to keep walking forward and stay in the fight.
I like that because, again, when you get a matchup like that too, it's like you don't need to play possum here. I think they're more scared of you.
100%.
It's like you go get that guy. You playing possum is, excuse me, I get it's a little bit part of the style, but he's the more intimidating guy in there. You go get him, and I think if he gets a little bit more on that, it's not as close. But I'll tip my cap to Penn State for that one. We'll throw it to break, but before we do, shout out one more of our sponsors: John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical. Proudly serving the Lincoln, Omaha, and surrounding areas, John Henry's can assist you with any service like electrical maintenance, installation, or repair. Call today at 402-809-1159 or go to jhlincoln.com. That is Ridge Lovett, the national champ, former Husker wrestler. I'm Harrison Owens on the ones and twos. We'll come back for one more segment and just kind of recap our final thoughts on the match, Nebraska versus Penn State. Penn State ends up with a win. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G1388852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Hey guys, this is former UFC fighter and mixed martial artist Anthony Lionheart Smith. The Upside Bar and Lounge in South Lincoln is the go-to spot for every UFC event, prelims, and main card. There's never a cover, so make sure you get there early and stay late. Upside Bar and Lounge has daily specials, a margarita club, and a taco club. And don't forget, they just added Buzz Bowls to their menu. Learn more about upcoming events by visiting UpsideBarLNK.com and stop into their South Lincoln location for every UFC event on 27th and Pine Lake.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping things up here, final segment. Wrestling post-match final sponsor as well. Shout out to the Lincoln Airport. American Airlines is back at Lincoln Airport, bringing new nonstop flights from Lincoln to Dallas, Fort Worth, Chicago O'Hare, starting in June 2026, with seasonal winter service to Phoenix starting in winter of 2026. Tickets are on sale now. Shout out to the Lincoln Airport. I know, Ridge, I'm sure you've traveled enough. You probably appreciate it when they have some more direct flights. And you don't
absolutely. We fly a lot out of Omaha, but when we can make it happen through Lincoln, it's always it's great.
Shout out Lincoln Airport, making life
100%.
With that being said, though, I'm just gonna read this because he did comment in, he put his name on it, and I'll leave out some of the words. But this one from Dean, and he says, just like Manning said, that they're soft. Maybe it's because that's how they are coached. Says Manning needs to go. How does Penn State have a record in duels of 83-0? My 2 cents are Manning has done an incredible job because I don't think people fully realize the resources he has compared to Penn State or even Iowa. What Coach Manning does with this program, without trying to say that they're not right for giving money. I don't want to blaspheme anybody, but I know that he does a lot with not nearly as much as some of these other programs. Penn State, I'd imagine it's probably they have 3, 4, 5, 6 times as much to go and get these athletes as opposed to Nebraska. So I think Coach Manning's done a phenomenal job. And I understand some people are upset, but for me, I look at this and I see 4 matches that the Huskers came out. Again, knowing that we don't have as much resources-wise, especially in the NIL era, that I think what Penn State certainly does. And you go out there and you have some moments where I thought Nebraska competed and could have switched it the other way. And then last year we did just have 2 national champions. So I don't know what the hell we're talking about with any of that. I appreciate the comment. I will read it. I may disagree with it very strongly, but I did want to bring it out there. I didn't walk away from this match dejected, Rich. I guess is where I stand.
Yeah. I feel that since the Iowa duel, we've taken 2 big steps forward. And that's what you want to see. When we were talking about Ohio State, we saw a little bit of a bounce back. That was the kind of the narrative after that one. And we carried some of that momentum into tonight. What we need is just more offense, right? The best team in the country, Penn State, is a shooting team. The whole match they're shooting, they're constantly looking to score, and we need a little bit more of that, right? That was my biggest takeaway from the night. And on Dean's comment, Manning's definitely not soft. There's no softness going on in that room. They're prepared to go out there and compete tough and be tough. And sometimes you don't get full effort, right? Whether that could be weight cuts, whether that could be just feeling a little dejected, feeling like the duel might be out of hand a little bit, right? A lot of stuff plays into that, but they're definitely well prepared. And Penn State does a real good job at landing top recruits. They have top recruits go to their team that will never see the mat and never leave. So I don't know if that's some NIL stuff. They're making sure everybody gets paid, or if those guys they're okay with being on a team that wins a lot and okay with not competing, not getting any mat time. But there's a lot of guys that go to Penn State and never see the mat, that never leave, that could have super successful careers elsewhere. Like we saw it last year with Terrell Bearclaw. He spent his first 4 years at Penn State, was they would put him in the lineup every once in a while when somebody got hurt, but he stayed there his whole career. Transfers his senior year, hits the podium, right? And there's a bunch more guys on that team that could have that same story, but they do a real good job at keeping backups and third stringers on site. So I don't know what all plays into that, but there's something to that.
Sure, it's a combination of things, right? And this is where, I don't want to say it's all NIL. I'm sure they definitely have more than what we're sometimes able, because they've just had that program running and it's been such a big thing for them for so long. The alumni there is crazy. Like, they have an alumni network that they will heavily invest into wrestling. And I think Nebraska wrestling can get to that point. It helps if we get more wrestlers, but that is just such a wrestling known school that the boosters, it's easier to cut a check. Like, yeah, give it to wrestling. Here, a lot of people just want to give it to football, which is fine. But I do think what Mark Manning has done has created this Nebraska wrestling program so it can continue to take these next steps. And to your point, yeah, I just think aggressiveness, that needs to come into the picture a little bit more. But other than that, you don't want to peak right now anyways. You want to come out and win. It's never an excuse to go out there and take losses. But, we'll wrap up on this, Ridge. How important is it to take what you learned here, even despite the losses, so you can really get ready for Big Tens, and then if you do well, nationals?
It's huge, right? We're the last 3 weeks we've wrestled 3 of the best teams in college wrestling, and those 3 teams have been the best in college wrestling for as long as I've been alive, right? So keep your head up after those ones. Took some lumps in there, but that's some stuff that we got a lot of data. The last week we've seen a lot of wrestling and we have a lot to work with now. And schedule kind of lightens up here now, right? In comparison to what we've had the past couple weeks, schedule's going to lighten up a lot. And this is a big opportunity to take the stuff that we can learn from these duels and implement that into the couple matches that we have going forward as we creep closer to March. Last year it seemed like Manning kind of figured out the code and how to get us all to peak at the right time. Just sticking to the plan, and Manning we trust, baby. Come March, we'll be good to go.
Amen to that. On a quick side note, a little bit of cherry on top. I don't know if you had your eyes on it. How about the Iowa Hawkeyes taking a loss at home?
Right. That was and that's what makes wrestling so awesome, is that a lot of it, especially in duels, is it's real matchup based, right? It waits where we might have dropped a match where Minnesota was real tough, like at 25. We dropped that match against the Hawkeyes, and that result was flipped, right? I don't know what the 33 score was. I didn't get to watch the duel. I was watching us, but it's those little matchups that really make wrestling interesting.
Well, that's
Go Gophers, baby.
Go Gophers. Yeah. I'm glad we got our win versus them, but I don't mind you watching take it down the Iowas on the road. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, but that's to your point. That's what makes Big Ten wrestling great. That's why I'm not going to freak out over any of these direct results. This is a damn good conference when it comes to wrestling. You're going to have those matchups where styles clash every now and then. But on the bright side, Huskers still got some rows left. Time to get ready. And we'll look forward to it. We'll be here for the next post-match as well. That is Ridge Lovett, the national champ. Appreciate you as always, Ridge. We'll go ahead and let you get out of here. We'll wrap up everything. Again, shout out our sponsors one more time. Lincoln Airport, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Union Bank and Trust. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. And I'll be back here tomorrow morning, Saturday. They'll start off Husker Online into Business Builders, all right here, 93.7 The Ticket.
It happens.